Well, though some say the Democratic Party, well, appears to be losing some steam after it lost 4 of those recent special elections for Congress. Well, now some are calling for House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi to be replaced. Others saying the party leadership, well, they've got to try to help redefine its mission. There's New York Senator Chuck Schumer, of course, who's the minority leader. Well, my next guest knows Mr. Schumer and the president very well. He co-wrote an editorial in the New York Times, along with Hillary Clinton advisor and pollster Mark Penn, who served for her a long time, calling for the party to get back to the center. Will it? Andrew Stein joins us. He's a longtime Democratic public official, former president of the Borough of Manhattan and the New York City Council, state legislator, and was chair, we should point out, of the Democrats for Trump. You went with Mr. Trump this time. Look, you had Hubert Humphrey living at your house when you were a kid. You've met JFK 3 times in your life. Yeah. You've done all the great Democratic power brokers, but you say that the party, is going too far left and out of the mainstream of America?
Well, Eric, in the early 1970s, the Democrats started the leftward shift, and they lost the House in a big way, or as the president would say, big time, and Newt Gingrich came in. And then Bill Clinton brought the party back to the center, 100,000 new cops, welfare reform, balanced budgets, and that's now the Democratic Party has tilted so far to the left again. They lost 1,000 legislative seats under Obama, 2/3 of the governorships, and both houses of Congress. So I think that as long as the Democrats continue that far left move, politically correctness, sort of socialistic under Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, they're going to continue to lose in 18 and 20.
But President Obama was elected. I mean, he wasn't to some as far left as they had thought. But look, you do have a point. I mean, like got Bill Clinton, JFK, Scoop Jackson, the former senator from Washington, D.C. Those were kind of middle-of-the-road, mainstream Democrats, conservative somewhat. So what happened? I mean, the Blue Dogs, there are hardly any more Blue Dogs left.
Well, I think that that the Democratic Party, to be acceptable today, you have to be far to the left. And, Bill Clinton was a great president. JFK today, Eric, would be considered a conservative by Democratic standards today. He was for a strong defense, for tax cuts.
He cut taxes.
He cut taxes. He ran against Nixon as, the missile gap. So you don't have the JFKs or the Bill Clintons in today's party. And while Obama was a charismatic figure himself, the Democrats got shellacked in every other way.
You think JFK could get the nomination today?
Oh, no, he's too far. With all his charm, I don't think so, because he would be too much of a centrist. But Donald Trump, I think, is going to be reelected in 2020 because he is cutting regulations, stimulating the economy. He is taking us, again, showing leadership on the world stage.
What about all the problems in the Russian investigations and his tweets and other controversies and everything else?
The president's a character. I've known him since '73, but I think he's doing a really good job. He's creating jobs. I know so many people who are starting businesses now because they don't have to deal with so many regulations.
So how does the Democrat
He's making us energy independent.
How does the Democrat take him on? I mean, let me read a quote that you wrote with Mark Penn, who had worked for Hillary Clinton for years.
And Bill Clinton.
And Bill Clinton, you're right. You wrote this. Only a little more than a quarter of Americans consider themselves liberals, or almost 3 in 4 are self-identified moderates or conservatives. Yet moderate viewpoints are being given short shrift in the presidential nominating process. Americans are looking for can-do Democrats, as we said, in the mode of John F. Kennedy and Bill Clinton, leaders who rose above partisanship to unify the country, who defended human rights and equality passionately, and who also encouraged economic growth and rising wages. And you don't see that out there with Senator Sanders or Elizabeth Warren or Kamala Harris is being mentioned as a great new star.
But they're all so far to the left. They are all in this identity politics, misogyny, all these misogyny, all these other labels. The Socialism doesn't work. Look at Venezuela, look at the Cuban economy. It just doesn't work. And these people are basically socialists.
So who's out there? I mean, there's one name is being mentioned is Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York. I mean, there have been reports. Politico had a big story about him. He may be trying to consider potentially running. His father, of course, is Mario Cuomo. He seems to be a working class guy. He likes to fix muscle cars, dealing with these type of issues. Do the Democrats have anyone who fit the mold of the type of candidate that you said can be successful?
Well, I'm going to be supporting Donald Trump, but I think that the best candidate for the Democrats would be Andrew Cuomo for the reasons you just stated. He has a working class background. He's very smart, and he's a centrist, and I think he'd be a strong candidate.
And he has served in the federal government. He was HUD secretary
yes,
under the Clinton administration,
Bill Clinton,
and has had 2 terms so far as governor. All right, so we'll see. Your money in anybody?
Well, I would think the Democrats, if they were smart, would nominate Andrew Cuomo. I think he'd be the best candidate as a centrist and an experienced governor. But I will have to support Donald Trump. I believe in him.
Okay. July 8th, 2017, Andrew Stein right here predicts Andrew Cuomo. We're playing back this tape. We'll see what happens. Andy Stein, always good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Served for 3 decades as a Democrat. Had Kefauver sleep over in your house when you were?
Yeah, when I was a kid, Estes Kefauver and Hubert Humphrey stayed over in our house.
Right.
My father was a pallbearer at RFK's funeral. I idolized JFK and RFK.
All right, that's a legacy of the Democratic Party. Wow, thank you. Well.